wrong from last month. Okay. Bills.
Ricky Brown, quarter pay, $411.25. Roger Mallory, quarter pay, $411.25. Supervisor Yakumaski, quarter pay, monthly. Chris Bauer, zoning officer, $1,063.93. South Center Township Police, January, $26,830.63. Coming through loud enough? My wife tells me I have a big mouth, I don't understand it. South Center Township fines December, $847.32. Unemployment comp, brought it up to date, first, second, third quarter of last year, the fourth quarter of this year, $1,178.46. Yakumaski will reimburse penalties and interest. Kyle and Company, W-2s, $80. State Workers Insurance Fund, $1,218. Bird Printing envelope, $68. Ricky Brown, parts and mileage, $265.66. Grant Success Labs, January, $2,000. Chapin Oil, heating oil, $982.71. Robert Young Cinders, $2,772. Klein Equipment Service, $1,335. Sunbury Motors, truck parts, $1,066.65. Bradco Supply, $188.85. Boats Disposal, $42.32. Verizon Business EMA, $79.12. Verizon EMA, $72.47. Verizon Standard, $74.81. AT&T, $15.97, 2 times. PP&L Streetlights, November, $957.36. LED, no name streetlights, $17.47. First Street, $248.41. German School, $52.72. Third and Market, $52.12. Aqua Building, $174.50. Hydrants, $71.10. Labor less taxes, Brown, $672.12. Mallory, $110.48. Jeremiah Mensinger, $2,676.85. Rod Bryce, $940.52. Yakumaski, $1,000. Total expenditure, general fund, January, $48,149.99.
I have a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Revenue General Fund, December 2025. Registered Recorder, $514.50. District Justice, $576.79. Tax Office, November, $351.88. Berkheimer earned income, $31,487.09. Total revenue December, $32,925.26. I have the balance as of December 31st. Oh, unless people want to hear it, I also got from January 31st. Revenue General Fund, January 2026. District Justice, $847.32. Registered Recorder, $4,078.51. Berkheimer EIT, $18,382.23. Total revenue January 2026, $23,247.06. State fund expenditure, real estate appraisal and marketing associates. Want to explain that one, Ricky? That's $5,300.
What that money was sent for them was, we're doing the bridge project out on Mifflin Road. And we went to bid it and the state said, no, you gotta have an appraisal. We came to an agreement with both landowners because we're gonna use part of their property while we're building the bridge and then to access in case it needs repairs or something. Both property owners agreed to an amount, but then the state said, nope, you have to have an appraisal done. So it cost us more to get the appraisal done than what we were gonna pay them to start with. So, and we still haven't got it, so we can't bid the bridge until they get all done with the appraisal process. I talked to them Friday, they said they'd have it this week for us, so hopefully we'll bid the bridge coming up shortly.
It does come out of the state fund, need a motion to pay.
I'll make a motion to pay that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Balance as of January 31st. General fund held $155,263.42. State fund held $617,836.99. Designated investments $9,351.29. Total $782,451.70. Reserve fund, Journey Bank, $113,886.59. First Keystone, $122,479.59. 108, $493.53. Philly Federal, $112,943.48. 110, $279.77. 117, $94.08. And checking savings account, Philadelphia, $5. Reserve fund total, $685,182.04. All pending audit and new interest not yet calculated in all accounts. Want the escrow's gone over or
Yeah,
not?
there's
No?
no, they never
Right.
changed.
Okay, we have any questions on the Secretary Treasurer report? Outgoing, incoming, anything? Okay,
Police report.
For the month of January 2026, there was a total hours worked for both townships of 1,312 hours. There was 10 total hours of overtime worked, 20 hours of vacation time, 10 hours of sick time used. There were no hours worked from the drug task force and no hours for any PA Department of Transportation grants. Total miles on vehicles for the month of January was 6,794, and there was 377 gallons of fuel used. In Mifflin Township, there were 65 incidents that required a report, 87 calls for service, 21 traffic citations, 2 criminal arrests, and 1 court appearance.
Anyone have any questions for the police? Anything going on that residents should know about?
Not that we're aware of.
That's good.
That's how we like it.
Yep. Zoning officer, report? Thank you.
Thank you.
Zoning officer's report, for January, he issued 3 permits, one to Brian Reed, one to Steve Shannon, and one to Jason Young. One was to put a fence up, demolish a structure, and Young was a new home. Then in February, he issued, a permit to Innovative Building and Design for another duplex down on, at the retirement place,
Yeah.
retirement homes.
Bailey Park.
Bailey Park, that's it, yeah.
Couldn't think of it either for a second.
And both of them, there was a fee for $725 issued for that. For the fence, it was $95, demolish the structure was $50, and the new home was $713. Also, from Barry Islet and Associates, they did, a permit for residential dwelling. This is for building, actual building permits, for a new home for $2,354.50. That was for all the inspections that get done on new homes. And also Advanced Code Consultants, they did, some work out here at Zajax Trailer Court on Mountain Road. There was water problems out there, they've been working on that. Anyone have any zoning questions, or, he's not here tonight, but anything, yeah,
What's he doing about the houses down again on Main Street,
Yeah.
West Third? Anything?
there's no letters here, so I don't know that he's done, we'll have to, after we get him.
Could you ask him, Rick, like monthly, to give the 3 of you
Yeah.
a list of the letters that he's
He
sending
gives
out,
us
and then you
letters.
know he's
He
doing
always
it?
gives us a copy of the letters. It's the follow-up after the letters that I don't think is,
Well, and
happening.
now another house was just sold next to where Steve and Donna Livesey live, and it's already a mess. Steve and Donna have to look at that.
which one, the one on the lower side?
Correct. And he also, did Bauer give them, they split up the home into apartments, and that's a single-family home. I mean, there's a mattress laying out there. There's been a car up on Jack's for 3 months. You
Okay.
know, it's just getting bad, and
Okay, I will give him a call in the morning and see what he
okay.
has to say. Planning
And about
commission-
the other ones too, that we've been
Yeah.
talking about for
The-
months.
Yeah, West Street, Third
Yeah.
Street. Yeah. Planning commission report, I don't think they had anything to go over. Okay, subdivision and land, I'm gonna skip over the other one for right now. Just, 'cause I'm sure they'll come back up. Subdivision land development, we've gotten letters from Nancy Marr about closing two of them out, Redbird Lane and the one on Klein, I guess it's Mifflin Residential. So we need to have our inspector go out and check both of them, and then I know the one, I think Chris said before it was completely finished, but we're still holding escrow money there that we need to find out what we need to do with it, or what we can do with it, because we're owed money on a couple of the others, correct?
Okay, yeah, first one's Racing Morgan. That's
Yeah.
the one across from the fire hall.
Yeah, that one's
That's
completed,
basically
yeah.
Where's Redbird Lane?
That burns across from the fire hall.
Yeah.
Across the fire
okay.
hall.
Redbird Lane is the, is that what they call it? We call it more residential.
Well, the street name's Redbird,
Oh, right, we call it more residential, that's the subdivision
Yeah.
name.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And the question there that Ricky were related, we have, the first escrow for the townhouses. That's Grace Street,
Yeah, residential is the other one,
right,
up on top.
they have, escrow more townhouses. Their balance in escrow is $6,882.38. Then we roll down to Moore Overlook. And their balance is a negative $5,743.64. So the supervisors were thinking that you don't give somebody $7,000 when they owe you $5,000. But we have to see how that goes.
right, 'cause they're all separate corporations,
So
so
are they?
they'll have to talk to our attorney about that.
Yeah, right. They weren't when they started.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
There was-
excuse me, can I ask a question about that?
Yeah,
Is that pre-Mar residential that you're talking about that's already been funded, already been built? Is any of that financial escrow tied to the former First Columbia Bank that is now closed and went to Journey?
I don't know what you mean. You mean their bonds?
Yes, so to
Yeah,
speak.
no, their bonds, I think the latest bonds are from Journey, if I remember correctly. Cause that came, I mean, the bond renewed when, in October, November, so that would've, and that was from Journey Bank, it would've been from First Columbia then.
Okay. I just wondered, because if it still was, we would lose that escrow
Right,
if it was still through
yeah,
First Columbia.
we're not ready to release, especially the one on Mar Residential. Yeah, because the ponds aren't, there's still one pond that has, a problem, let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Even though the state released it, the state said it was fine, the residents say it's not, so we're siding on the resident side and saying it's not right yet.
And you're talking about the water itself, the pond,
Yeah,
or the bond?
the pond that behind one of the bond, we don't wanna release that bond yet on Mar Residential, because there's still one of the detention ponds that has a problem.
Okay.
So we don't wanna release that bond yet until they take care of that. They were supposed to take care of it last fall, but as of yet, I sent a message to one of the residents, but she didn't respond to me yet, so I don't know if they have or not.
Okay, thank you.
But either way, our engineer has to okay it first and say, yeah, it's good to go.
Hard to tell till spring.
What's that?
Be hard to tell.
Yeah,
till spring.
right now, you can't tell anything right now. We didn't have any reports from soil conservation or anything on any of those, did we? No. Okay, Mifflin Overlook, like you said, they're still in arrears, $5,743.64 on their escrow. Roadmasters, the other two there, Lawbaugh and Robbins, are both completed. We're just waiting to give their money back as soon as we make sure we have all the bills in.
Should be refunded this month.
Yeah. Roadmasters report?
Alright, I got a whole huge list here, I'm not gonna read them all. Picked up limbs on Hoffnagel Road, checked roads for icy spots numerous times, put anti-rust on the trucks, cause the salt eats them up. Plowed country and town road, salt and cinder numerous times, plowed playground, plowed playground parking lot. Scraped ice and roads, pushed back drifts, mixed up salt and cinders, cause we sometimes spread both depending on the situation. Sometimes just cinders if it's too cold. Plowed drifts in town as well as out in the country. Various maintenance things, fixing wires, tailgate work. We had trouble with one of our trucks, which we're still working on right now, but these guys did a good job working around that. And, for the most part, the roads, all things considered, I think they're in pretty decent shape right now. There's some still drifts here and there, but we've been trying to stay after them, we've been checking them out every day. Any signs down anywhere or anything like that? I know sometimes snow plowing and wind and everything else this time of the year. I didn't notice any out and about today, but.
Stop signs broke off right as you come off 80 there.
Well,
Oh,
that's the
yeah,
state.
yeah, we can't do anything with that, but I saw that today. It looks like somebody turned a little short with their big rig on that one. But yeah, thank you. Any other issues with roads anywhere? No? Okay, if you have any drifts that need plowed, let us know, they can blow back over again.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Roger on the roads?
I have a question about a road sign. There's a sign like right between myself and where Janet used to live. At the
Okay.
pizza shop there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it says anymore. It might be 339 or something like that, but had Janet driven a lot, I can't believe she didn't get creamed because that thing is blocking so much of that driveway and creating blind spots. I don't know if it can be back or forward or something, but where it's at, it's for me and her creating terrible blind spots.
Okay, I'll send the state a message asking
Okay.
them to,
Yeah.
the readers.
No, I was
it's not
just
ours, so
curious.
we don't
While we were
touch
talking about signs, I just thought of
that.
it.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'll send, there's a website on PennDOT that you
Okay.
can send stuff like that in, and they usually answer you pretty
Okay.
good, pretty quick. They'll send it then to the district over here and, okay. Sewer authority, right now we have 8 delinquencies totaling $14,816.56. Currently, the sewer authority in the Mifflinville account has just shy of 900,000 in it, in that account. So we're in pretty good shape there, as long as we don't break the line in the river. Does anyone have any questions on the sewer authority? Any questions they're having problems with or anything? Okay. Okay, the reason a lot of people are here tonight, we'll get to that one quick. Basically, what every township in the area is facing is a data center, as we are also. We don't have anybody that's submitted anything yet, so there's no plans out there for anyone. There's people looking around, asking questions. They've asked questions of the sewer authority as to how much sewage capacity they could have. So to try and get ahead of it, you can't zone them out totally. It's just, you can't do that. So what we are doing is we're passing an ordinance that will limit them to being in the industrial zone. I'm gonna hold up the thing back there. Yep. Our industrial zone basically is this gray,
Oops, sorry.
we'll call it this gray part right here, which is just west of the interstate. It goes from about basically the interstate out to Ryman Road, or not Ryman, Mifflin X Road. And then it goes back a little ways, where it's surrounded by agricultural and woodland conservation. So, you know, we wanna pass an ordinance that puts them in the industrial zone. So that we're not left open for, I forget what they call that.
We call it more development.
Well, no, I meant, when they can go to court and say, you don't have anywhere to put it, so therefore we can put it anywhere.
Restrictive to restrictive.
Yeah, so we did, our attorney had written us an ordinance in December, and then with, what's her name, Ginny,
Kerslake.
what's that?
Kerslake.
Kerslake, yeah. I had printed off a copy of the ordinance that she puts out, which I gave to our attorney also. He took parts of that he felt he didn't feel that all of hers could stand up in court. So he took parts of hers and redid his. And so what we're gonna do now is, we have to send this to the planning commission next. They will hold a hearing on it I think it has to be 30 days, they have to advertise it, and then it'll be 30 days after that is when they can have their meeting for it. We were hoping that we could do it at their next meeting, but it doesn't look like we possibly can. So what'll happen then is the planning commission will take testimony, make recommendations, send it back to us, then we can say yes or no, or whatever we think, if we wanna add stuff to it, and then it'll be advertised for enactment. Then after that, it goes, oh, where's my paper? There has to be a public hearing held by the municipal governing party, purpose to allow citizens to comment for or against the proposed amendment. Minutes must be kept and the hearing is typically recorded. Governing body action after that meeting, the governing body stores or votes to approve, deny, or amend with modifications, with majority vote is sufficient. And then the effective date, if approved, the ordinance takes effect after the proper publication, published in the adopted amendment or notice of adoption in a local newspaper. The ordinance is then enforceable. And then also the update for the zoning ordinance will happen, and it'll be on the website and in our books. But that's kind of the process that we're looking at.
Would there be verbiage in there to help protect our infrastructure at all? Like say they look at, like, who's responsible for our grinder pumps that pump across the river? Are we, the borough, Baja?
Sewer authority is,
I mean,
they own them all.
alright, cause obviously if they go in, there's gonna be a ton more water being pumped.
Right, but they're limited as to how much they can, there's one company that did reach out to the sewer authority, and they were told that, you know, this is about what you can get, maybe 100,000 or so a day. Whether that still interests them or not, we don't know, just because, and with the amount of employees they have, or projected to have.
Employees is nothing.
What's that?
Employees is nothing once they're operational. Minute.
It's not very much.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's not a lot.
They tried to say that that's
Yeah.
the draw, but it's.
Yeah, it really is. But with the amount of employees they have, the 100,000 a day, it would, you know, I guess that's, I don't know, I don't know if that's good or bad, but, you know, that's about all that the sewer authority can give them. Because we're tied up, we have overlooked, that's kinda, we have 300 EDUs left, I think. The 100,000 would probably take 100 of those EDUs. So that still lets Mifflin Township with 200 EDUs that we could, you know, use for more residential and any other new people that get hooked on.
And about the water troll? Any studies for that then, you know,
Nobody's applied, so we don't know what they want.
just, I'm, protection.
Yeah, yes.
I have a question. How long has that particular section been deemed industrial?
1972,
Okay, so it's always been that
it's
way.
always been that way.
Okay, and you don't have any plans if they wanna expand a little bit into agriculture, you're not gonna let them go into that?
We would, I mean, I can't speak for the other two, but I would be against that.
Okay.
I can't speak for the other two, but I'd be against it.
Okay.
I'll third that.
Okay.
I mean, you know, you have to allow something.
Yeah.
So we think the best place is in the industrial zone where there's already, you got Helena Chemical, you got the tire place, you got,
Yeah, you got cement plant, you got.
Oh, yeah, the cement
quarry
plant's
out there.
there.
You also have 800 feet setback on the wetlands, don't you? From a 10 mile.
well, whatever that, I don't know what
I
those
think it's 800
regulations
feet.
are, but, you know.
Setback from 10 miles.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, I mean, once you get off the hill, it's pretty
It's not
swampy
much
all
there, yeah.
down through that
So-
valley.
Also, so many feet off the road, I mean, one is a state highway, 339, so you'll have to stay so many feet off of that as well.
Right.
You know, but I mean, these are all something that, when you get down to the planning commission and stuff, I mean,
Right,
it's like,
that's all,
you know, and it's the same way with the water consumption.
right.
Because, that's my concern, because of being
Well,
on a private well. How
Right.
much and where are they gonna get it from?
Yeah.
The power is the other thing, where are they gonna get the power from? I mean, there's high tension lines that runs through that area,
Right.
but can they tap into that or not? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
these are all questions, but that is something that will have to go to the planning commission, do I understand correct?
Yeah.
They'll have to look at, review, and then put in their, comments as to what they agree to or don't agree to, and it still comes back to you gentlemen.
They would have to submit first they would apply for a permit. Then they'd have to get they'd have to do a land development plan. And in that land development plan, you would see what size structure they're gonna build, parking lots, stormwater runoff,
Road access.
road access, generators that they might have, lighting that they have, almost like we did with the solar place that was gonna come out here. You sit down, you have a meeting, they present all that information, and then it's yay or nay, or, you know, you either
Right.
fit the zones or you don't.
How many acres are in that industrial?
Oh, I don't know.
There's hundreds.
Probably 200-300,
It's about 600 acres.
600
or 600.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, it's probably,
You can look it up on the GIS, on
Yeah.
the county GIS.
yeah, it's basically, what, mile and a half long by mile wide?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
There's, like I said before, there's 3 major property owners involved in that, so.
Yeah.
If they refuse to sell, does that shut this down, or can they essentially take land?
No, they
I
can't
don't
use
think they
them.
can take
So if the landowners refuse, this pretty much
Right.
means that we're fine,
Yeah.
but our fate is kind of in their hands
Right.
at this point.
I mean, just like the one in Briar Creek, they, you know, I guess if you read the paper yesterday, you know, they put it in a certain zone and the people that own most of that land saying, we ain't selling.
They didn't even know.
Yeah, they didn't even know.
I know Joe, I mean, he's a guy,
Yeah.
I worked with him for years.
Yeah, so we, you know, until somebody submits a plan, we're just trying to get ahead of the age, we're trying to get ahead of the curve. So,
We don't wanna see it taken the agricultural land or have so much of, they hold that money out in front of you, that's a heck of a lot of money.
yes,
With all that said, and the focus on the data center, we don't have an infrastructure that'll power, that'll cleanse the water, that'll produce enough water for that specific bill. So,
It depends.
has anything been brought to you in regards to the infrastructure needs to get power, to get water, to get septic any land to put waste on? Has anything been proposed beforehand that now you're saying, you know, we gotta offer them the opportunity for that parcel, for that industrial need?
As far as I know, the only thing, they did have, one person or one company did approach the sewer authority a couple months ago, about how much sewage capacity they could get. Water capacity, I mean, the wells up here, they have drilled another well, but I heard that's been in the works for a few years, because the one well that they do have is going bad, and so they need another, you know, they just need a backup well there.
Yeah,
Whether-
that's my
whether
question.
Aqua
Has there
could-
been any prereqs so far for any of that initial infrastructure to this area to sustain operation at a facility that scale?
Yeah, and we don't, again, we don't know, you know, if it's a, I don't know what a small data center even is. If it's a small one that uses 20,000 gallons a day, that's a whole lot less than
Well,
Love's
we're not
uses.
talking that, we're talking, you know, 500,000 to a
Well,
million
no,
in
but
a
I'm
24-hour
saying,
process.
until somebody submits a plan, we don't even know what that might be. You know, if somebody submits a plan for a small data center, that's what I'm saying, that's, you know, they might use 20,000 gallons a day, you know, and that's less than what Love's uses in a day's time. You know, so that, yeah, you could sustain it. Could you sustain one like they're building in Berwick? No way.
And that's what's proposed for this area.
There hasn't been anything proposed yet.
Okay. But
There's
that's-
been nothing, planning, nobody's applied for anything in Mifflin Township yet.
Okay.
Um,
Not just for the business, but for the infrastructure, the wiring, any water lines, nobody's applied for anything on that side.
Well, we don't, I mean, the sewer lines I would know about, but the water lines, that's Aqua, they're not part of us,
What about the electrical, where the wires and stuff would be run?
well, that's PP&L or whoever owns those power lines.
So that wouldn't come directly to the township?
Yeah, they would, I'm sure before they built one or bought the land, they would find out whether they could get power or not. I don't know, but we're just trying to get ahead of, get something in place so we can regulate it a little bit. We don't want the massive one like Berwick has. Propping up or stuff, you know, showing up here. Mark?
Yeah, would you plan to do like the feasibility studies, like for the water use and stuff?
Well, that's what, all that stuff would come when somebody applies.
Okay,
Cause you have to know what they're looking for and
right,
where they plan to get the water.
okay,
I'm sure before they buy the land, they're gonna look for water somewhere.
right.
And whether Aqua can provide it, whether they, you know, put a line across and get it from, what's the one on the other, Viola or whatever?
Yeah,
I mean, there's always that possibility, but, you know, it's of course, they worry about money too much, it doesn't sound like. You know, I guess in Berwick, they're hauling water in until they get the water line built. I don't know. That's what I read in the paper. I don't know if it's true or not, but.
So if our town isn't capable of sustaining something like that, would they offer our town money to get the equipment to make it? Like you said, we're at 300 left, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Would they offer you, can they buy their way in, is what I'm saying? Like, what if they're like, okay, you can't handle it, but what if we buy you the equipment, the infrastructure, like, is
The
that?
problem is that the sewer plant can't handle a whole lot more.
Right,
That's why the sewer plant's looking at expanding, just because they're already getting saddled with all the stuff that comes out of Salem Township.
I'm just wondering, cause they're chucking money at everything.
Oh, yeah.
You can
Yep.
make anything happen.
And until somebody actually makes an offer or, you know, puts a permit in, we just don't know.
Right.
I mean, could they, South Center's actually putting a sewage treatment system in, and that water is gonna go to Berwick too. That's what's kind of limiting, you know, the plant up there, because South Center's they're expanding, they want, I don't know how many EDUs they want, like 1,000. And, because they're already getting hit with, townhouses and all kinds of stuff to build up over there, once this, you know, there's a big development plan for, over by the golf course, and so they need the EDUs, and without the sewer plant expanding, which take probably a number of years to do.
20 years ago, we guaranteed it, 3.5, 400 EDUs. And we had development, basically residential development in mind for it. That way, up that way. We didn't plan for industrial development. Will we sell out? I don't think so.
Right.
In fact, I know us, we won't.
Right. So it has to come before.
I don't give a damn what they offer us.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still gonna pay your 4.7 mils, half a mil. I mean, they can give free stuff away all they want.
Right.
This town isn't for sale.
The only reason I hesitate to say that is because the sewer authority is not Mifflin Township.
Right.
We have one vote on that,
Well,
you know.
we more or less told them what it was.
Yeah, Aqua is not part of the township, and neither is Power, so could they get those infrastructure? Possibly. I wouldn't wanna say they can't.
They get it through Aqua, they can't get it through wells.
Right, they probably can't pump that kind of
Right.
water out. Well, I
And that's
don't
what
know.
we gotta look for.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
a lot of people had to go a lot of feet down to get their wells to work.
Yeah.
Any draw from this outfit,
Right,
you take away 10, 20 feet.
Yeah, like-
you're-
Yeah.
if you're well marked, that's what,
Oh,
400 and some feet
No,
deep?
it's like 600 feet
Yeah,
or more deep, and we still
Yeah.
can't use
and it,
our
and it
water.
still runs dry.
Yeah, it runs dry.
That's my concern, 'cause I know a number of wells up there.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, I don't, it's, until somebody submits something, we just don't know what the might be's might be.
I just looked it up and it said that just like an average size data center needs 300 to 500 gallons per day. And a large one is 1 to 5 million gallons a
Yeah.
day, so I don't know that they will be able to.
Well, the 20 buildings up at, right there, building up by the power plant, is their output to the sewer authority is 440,000 gallons a day. Is what that's why they're running that big line, water line up up
11.
Route 11 to provide the water to them. And the sewer authority said, we can take it for a little bit, but we can't, so that's why they've applied now to put it back in the river. Which isn't good, because now you're taking groundwater and putting it back in the river. So,
And it's gotta be the right temperature and all that stuff.
oh yeah,
Send it over to me, you know, one of these for calling.
Rick, if, you know, if that, the land that Roger showed us.
Yeah.
Would the township be responsible for providing access, a road? They would have to do that.
oh yeah. I mean, we have our township road there, Ayton Road, and there's Ryman Road, but the bridge is gone now, so that kind of restricts that one. And you got Mifflin X, but I don't know.
Well, I've been cutting every article out of the paper, you know, just following up on this stuff, and I think we as citizens, the water consumption is a huge thing. I mean,
Water and
this
electric
one,
are the two big
and
things.
what she said, this one said 277,000 gallons a day is what's being used, you know,
Well,
and.
that's what's being used now,
That's
I mean,
for
it's
one
probably
plant.
500
That's like
gallons.
one
They were
plant.
originally
1,000
requesting
gallons a day.
60,000, then it went up to 277,000.
My concern is, when I looked into it, and they said in the state of Georgia especially, being hard hit, the data centers go in, they sink their own wells, and they drive wells up for miles in all directions. And that, I'm hoping, I don't know if it can be done, but there'd be something put in there that if they do that out there in some way, and they do damage or dry wells up stuff,
Well,
they
that-
can be held responsible.
Yeah, that would all be part of the
That's what I'm hoping.
land development plan.
Right, cause I mean, they run into that same stuff with these gas wells up north. And
They
oh, we
polluted how
didn't
many
do
wells?
that, and I mean, the people's water was on fire up there, you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it, but yet they had no water trouble till they moved in,
Yeah.
so. That is a concerning for our area, I mean, you know.
You had a question?
Yeah, could you create an ordinance to be able to tax them anyway? Is there like any way that you
Well,
can,
they
if they
would,
wanna?
pay their fair share of taxes.
Nobody sounds that way.
You know, I don't know what taxes would be on a building like that, or, you know,
Yeah.
they get taxed, the county taxes them on their equipment, I think, plus their building. So I don't know what that would be.
This is
I
something
mean,
to
our
look into,
portion
maybe
would
if
be
they're gonna.
whatever the value is that the county tags on that, because the county's the one that would set that amount, or set that millage rate. And then Mifflin Township, what's our millage rate?
4.7.
4.7%. Which,
Just maybe a way you guys can make out for them coming into.
But we're
well, we
interested-
can't,
We're interested in the quality for life of our citizens.
Right, yeah.
They come in and they drive well, we don't wanna hear, you know, they're gonna, that's our home. Because somebody will put their life into that residence, they don't wanna lose their house and have to fight somebody for it. That's what we're saying, we don't want that, it's kinda,
And I have so much
Kinda
respect for you, John.
Aqua, if they just get the money in front of them, they might try to dig more wells somewhere. And I mean, that's a
And
corporate
again,
organization, but
Aqua and United Water, which is Berwick, are merging. So, all it takes is a line across the river up here to go into our pumps. They could have it,
Well, our
but
governor,
there's no water out there right now, there's no,
our governor said, I mean, he was, someone that came in and was all for the data center and all the money when this got started up there, when he came in to Bury. But just recently, I heard him, I think it was after his budget address or whatever, and he started about the state should be putting things in place where these data centers have to provide themselves with their own power and their own water, that it isn't taxing on the people, is what he'd like to see done.
yeah, but
Will, I doubt it. I think it's, my own opinion is I think it's a lot of lip service to make the people not get up in arms about all this stuff coming in and no restrictions being put on them.
the only thing with them providing their own power is there you got diesel generators sitting out there pumping away all the time.
My
I'd rather
issue
have them
there,
get it from PPL.
my issue there would be with all the natural gas in this state, it wouldn't take much to run a gas line across
Oh,
the
yeah.
river and put in a small gas generation like they're putting in above Burke now, you know, natural gas. And that doesn't provide the fumes and stuff that the diesel generators do.
Yeah.
their selling point right now is they're gonna provide this great infrastructure that this nation has basically ignored for the past 50+ years. They're not gonna provide bulk.
Right.
They're interested in their corporate.
Yeah.
That's all they're interested in. How much
I
they
I
get
got a
back.
quick question.
They're not interested in fixing roads or taking care of the electric.
That's unless somebody forces them to do so.
Right.
And I
Let me
don't
just,
see it happening.
let me just finish answering your question on the taxes. I don't think, and this would be an attorney question, but I don't think that we can tax, like, the tax rate for Mifflin is 4.8%, whatever you're assessed at. I don't think we can say to them, you're gonna be 15%.
No, that was a John Marshall ruling years ago.
Yeah.
You can't arbitrarily tax
Right.
anybody.
The zoning. What have you heard about the state,
So,
the zoning board is like, I know there was some gossip about that, the state trying to step in and almost control zoning across the board.
Oh,
That was brought up at our meetings.
Yeah.
I know, that's why I'm asking, what's, where we at, what's the gossip on it?
It didn't go anywhere yet.
Yeah, it's still sitting there.
You got the feds, you got the feds in the state.
Or, no, I was just, my only question
Step on
is,
a little guy.
so there's 3 people that control that land, like she said, the decision is gonna be up to these people whether they sell out, if they do or not. But say if the company coming in says, well, we want more land, and whoever's land is connected to them, but that's zoned residential or agricultural, can they sell that off to them as well, or would they have to get approval from you to make their land industrial,
That would be a variance.
a variance,
Okay, and the standard rule on variances and special exceptions is, special exceptions are almost always approved. And the special exception is, I'll give you an example. Redbird Lane that we were talking about, where they built the townhouses. they wanted to build them, the Township Planning Commission and Zoning Hearing Board said, no, it's not zoned for that. They took it to court, and it went all the way to the state Supreme Court?
Superior.
State Superior Court. And the judge on there sat there, he was an old timer from 1972, he says, we already addressed this with Mifflin Township back then. Special exceptions are always allowed, unless there's an extenuating, because it was allowed with a special exception out there. An extenuating circumstance, as our attorney said, would be, there's a sinkhole there, that those buildings can't be there, you know, it may, but the zoning hearing board, which is separate from us, took that to court and won it at the local court. Then Mara appealed it to another court, and there they won it, and then it went to the state superior court, and a resident appealed that to the state superior court, and that's when the state superior judge said, Mifflin Township, we've already been through this back in 1972. You can't do that. So special exceptions are almost always allowed unless there's an extenuating circumstance. Variances are almost never allowed unless there's a hardship. And a hardship can't be money. Well, I wanna do it because it's gonna make me money, or they're, like, let's say an extenuating circumstance on a variance would be, I've had this lot for 20 years, and over that time somewhere, it got rezoned, and the lot width has to be 80 feet, but I only have 66 feet on that lot. That might be a variance that would get approved, because there was no, the only reason I'm saying this is because I know it's happening in Scott Township right now. Their zoning ordinance did allow for non-conforming lots. But if your zoning didn't allow that and you took that, you would probably win that as a variance.
So all that being said, if they went after agricultural, it could be done then. Like if they wanted to go after a farmland someplace. And the people
That was
agreed to
adjoining
sell.
to the industrial.
Well, no, not
No.
even adjoining.
Okay,
If
okay.
they can't do it on industrial and they go after farmland,
Like, let's say, we're saying we're gonna go into industrial, and they go to Lapini's and wanna buy
Right.
that. Okay, they come in and say, and we say, no. And they'd ask for a variance on our zoning, we would say no, and that would, most of the time, you're gonna win that.
so they're gonna go wherever they want.
No, they can't, they won't win that.
The township would win.
The township will
Yeah,
win that.
location. But some of us on the township want, in the ordinance, that they can't go outside of the agricultural, or the industrial area.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, whether you want a variance or a special exception, no, put it in there, no. Rather than come along 10 years from now and try to
Right.
buy it out from somebody.
I thought
But,
last month.
excuse me.
Oh, sorry,
But one of
Ray.
the points there is, if you make it too strict, you go to court, you lose.
I thought last month you mentioned two farmers out there that had been approached. One person said no, they were not selling to a data center. The other one said yes, they wanted to. Isn't their land agricultural? The
No.
ones that you were talking about?
No,
Oh, so it's not those two,
They're both industrial.
they're both in industrial zones.
even though it's farm, Blake.
Yeah, even though it's farmland, it's still industrial.
Still industrial.
Ah,
Draw it up that way.
Agricultural,
Yeah, it's just,
Ah.
Industrial, 272.
yeah, it's been that way since
Now, the only other way is
1972.
Oh my
Like,
gosh,
the farmer
okay.
sold it to another farmer, I don't know if he could even do that, cause I don't know if they can sell it to a farmer, another, and still carry the farm ground, in other words, grandfather did.
Right.
I don't know if they
I don't
can do
know.
that. I don't know that.
That's an attorney question.
Yeah, cause I don't know if it could be grandfathered in. Once that farm is sold, even if this farmer wants to sell it to another farmer, can they or can't they? Because it's industrial, so is it gonna be grandfathered in on that sale or not?
Oh, it'd still be agricultural.
It would be agricultural, but it's an industrial zoning.
It still would be,
Yes.
because the map doesn't change.
I know the map doesn't change, but it's changing hands, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we had asked our attorney about what would happen if we tried to shrink our industrial zone. He said, you'll probably lose it in court, because you're segregating somebody right now.
Plus you spend a fortune to do it.
Plus, it's about a year or two process just to change the zoning in a certain area, because the other townships around you have to approve it.
We talked about that 10 years ago when we did our
Yeah.
rezoning. Change the maps, that's a possibility.
Yeah. Yes,
With all the talk about the usage of water for a data center, nobody's talked about the effects on the groundwater. Although all that water that's being used gets circulated back into the ground, and that destroys the groundwater and I'm gonna give you an example. If you have a 25,000 square foot data center, that's about the size of the Dollar Tree in Berwick. That's going to destroy the water table at ground well level for a 30 to 40 mile diameter around that facility. So that means nobody's gonna drill a well ever again. You're gonna be on public service from that point forward. So is there any statues on the land? I know you said you've industrialized it in '72, but is there any statues on the land of that industrial ground where they can't pump into, where there's a limit on what they can put into the ground?
I don't know that they're gonna be putting anything in the ground.
Yeah, all that water gets pumped back into the ground.
No, it's gonna go to it would go to the sewer authority.
You're not just talking
I
about
mean,
wastewater,
unless
you're talking
unless
about-
they can't get, I don't know how they would
This is just-
get a septic system that would handle that kind of water.
Like TRW did and Textron, you know, they've got multi-wells very deep from all the contaminant from the chrome they put in the ground. They're still running to this day, because they didn't have land ordinances on what was put into the ground from the industrial
Right, but
plants
now
on the surface.
DEP would, I mean, you can't.
That water gets circulated back into the ground. Yes, you do have some that comes back out into the public waste, but you also send that through the ground as a recyclable to send on the water that you're sending through public grounds. I've built data centers this size for the last 20 years for BlackRock, Merck. I can give you drawings, I can give you receipts, I can show you electric bills, I can show you where we bought townships out to get what we wanted. But I've not heard anything about the protection of the ground. These data centers, they're not bringing jobs here. Everything's done remote. I control the world, India, everywhere, 24/7.
No, most of them have 50 people.
Exactly, and they're all low-paying jobs. They're handyman, they're maintenance work on the facility, keeping the lots clean. So they're of no value here. After 10 years, the inside of that building is obsolete. There's nothing good there anymore, so they need to move on. The lifespan of the building is only 30 to 50 years. So we've got contaminated ground, we've got a 25,000 square foot facility, and after 30 to 50 years, it's sitting there rotted, we can't have any wells. So this is a big deal that, like, I don't think people are really grasping the water usages, the intake, the power. When you talk about the plant producing its own power, when you have service agreements with Merck or Novo Nordisk or anybody else, you need your power from the main grid, and you must have a diesel backup generator, because whether you have all the natural gas in the world, an earthquake will crack that line, the pressures in the lines go down, all your generators in your data center shuts down to protect it. So, I mean, at full scale, do people really know what's coming if this industry allows this to come into our neighborhood between state game lands? It's like, it's odd where this 600 acres is placed. We got state game lands on both sides of it, and a river.
Yeah.
And that facility, all the components in that data center, they hold mercury, they hold gold, they hold silver, they hold hazardous waste that by law, which your roadway guy can tell us, can't be transported in Pennsylvania via public road or rail. It needs to be either stored on site or government needs to come in and take that out that route, which is very expensive. That's why it always stays on site and it sits there forever. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at.
That's why all the nuclear waste still sits in Salem Township.
And all these new homes that you see here, and they're putting caps on them, you know, $1 million here, $1 million there. You know, they're not for us. When these people come in to these data centers, Amazon, anywhere else, you're talking, okay, I'll use India as an example, because they have a software manufacturer called Oracle, which I'm sure a lot of you heard of. Oracle is owned by India, the country. So anybody that's a programmer, software engineer, anybody that touches that code on Oracle needs to be a citizen of that country. So these homes are being built for the foreigners to come in to sit in their living rooms and remotely control these data centers while we sell off our lands, our futures, and our histories, because after 50 years, nothing will be here. Nothing.
Yeah,
And I don't know about you, but you know,
Yeah,
my bloodline goes back to the founders of these communities. I'm not giving it up.
right, mine too.
Our strongest bet is how can we prevent people from selling?
You need a really good ordinance. That's the first thing.
I guess that's what I'm asking. Is there anything in place specifically on the land that would restrict a data center or something of that nature from coming to our area and not being able to take us to court and being sued for segregation or any other names you wanna call that, which is restricting them from coming to our area, obviously by tax rate or other means?
I would think.
That's what I said. Yeah, let's put some turtles or endangered species in the area there. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's something South Center's facing right now. They're putting a line up, they wanna put a line up Old Brick Road, and they put a stop to them because there's eagle nests along there.
Let's get some eagles.
Okay.
That's the kind of stuff I'm referring to, like, do we have anything in place to stand on?
Put something in about the future.
Yeah,
If they close down in the future.
Yeah.
Because I know that area on that other side of the mountain back in '72,
How long would they be responsible for
Wait.
their cleanup? Yeah.
back in '72 when we had the flood, the area on the other side of that mountain was developed for attorneys, government officials before it got flooded out, and which is why it's now basically a camping area where a couple people have houses or campers, but it's a dead zone.
They can't put septic systems in.
Exactly. So like, is that what we're gonna look forward to in 25, 30 years, where?
I don't know, all we can do is try to limit them as best we can. Like I say, we took the ordinance that lady had been pushing and gave it to our attorney, and he went through it, and he says, if you pass this, he says, you'll lose it in court. He said, I can take some of this and put it in the ordinance, which he did. And like I say, this is the ordinance here. So, it'll be up on the website tomorrow. It goes to planning, I guess, can Tara get it off tomorrow?
Probably.
I sent it to her.
Okay.
I guess gotta tell her that it's okay to publish it now, since we're gonna, well, we need to make a motion, we need to get that for you. But, you know, all we can do is the most that we can do. Can we say you can't come here? No. We wish we could.
The attorney was talking about having a portion of that ordinance for when they're no longer there.
Yeah.
Now, the points you're saying, if we could get some of that in that paragraph or whatever,
Yeah.
for mutual protection, that makes one heck of a lot of sense.
I
But
say
this
that
probably
because
has to be
these are
expanded.
issues we ran into trying to build data centers. I've built many of them in New Jersey, in Pittston, the governor's mansion in New Jersey. So, you know, I know how especially the pharma industry throws money at whoever they need to
Right.
get what they want.
Right now, you got the governor, president, and everybody's for it.
Exactly, but if we got environmental
And
protections,
most townships are for it.
Yeah.
you know,
There's a
we
few
can't
people out
block
there
this.
opposed, but most townships are looking at the big money.
Money.
basically, part of the ordinance has environmental protection,
Yeah, if we have the
ecological
right ordinances on the
preservation,
ground.
it has stormwater management, land reclamation, which they have to post bonds and stuff up front.
I'm
Put money
trying.
up that would actually, pay to get rid of the plant once it's done, if they, like, let's say they just abandon it. There's safety and public health conditions, there's, that's the abandonment and decommissioning.
Even the building itself has hazardous waste. The walls and stuff have materials in it to keep frequency and noise from extracting the walls. So the facility itself, we're talking hazardous waste that's never going to leave that site, never gonna leave those grounds.
Well, eventually, I mean, they have
How?
to pay to get rid of it.
How?
Can that
Like
be?
You
the
legally
radio,
can't
yeah,
move
they
it.
want
What's that?
Can that be put in the ordinances that?
It is in
they
the ordinance.
must be- yeah, it must
They're
be.
gonna have to pay, they're gonna have to put money up front to decommission that
Yeah.
after. if
Because
they
like
really
you said
feel-
about it being obsolete, my wife's been worried sick about this thing, I'm like, Nikki, it probably wouldn't go through, technology becomes obsolete literally 2-3 years. I said, look, a gigabyte used to be this big, now you can't even see it, you know what I mean? So that place probably by the time they even got around, might not even be something that they're even interested in.
Who
Like,
knows?
can we
I mean,
drag our feet long enough that technology doesn't even
I
exist?
mean, we need the ordinance ASAP.
Yeah, well, I'm
That's-
not,
that's
yeah,
the
the
thing we
ordinance,
need.
but I mean, is there ways to just keep tying it up?
Zoning, I think, is the biggest hurdle, isn't it, for these places? If something isn't zoned, it takes time to change that, but for us, there really isn't that much standing in the way. If they wanna sell, I mean,
Yeah.
what stops?
You're still I asked somebody, I know the ones in Berwick, which were zoned, the ones next to the power plant, they was in the process, took about 4 years till they broke ground.
I think different things happen though. My stepdad was a nuclear engineer at PPL and he said that, originally they were trying to broker that, I think PPL was gonna build another plant to directly supply their power, but that got shut down. They said they weren't allowed any power, and I didn't realize this. I thought that like PPL or Talon, whatever, was supplying our power here, but they don't. They have to sell to the grid, which is Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, and we get our power from the grid. And what these data centers were trying to do was get these power plants to build a new power plant directly for them, but that was shut down and was said.
That's why you're
Originally-
seeing 3 Mile Island open up,
Yes.
because our power plant right here does not supply power to any of us. It
No.
supplies power to Manhattan and Northern New Jersey, the business district. We get our power delivered from Reading.
Yeah.
So,
Which I don't understand any of that. It doesn't seem
It all
smart.
comes from the
Yeah.
grid. I mean, you're, the company that you
It still doesn't
contract
make
with.
sense to me.
Yeah,
I
it goes
people
in
say
there.
it, but I don't get it. It's right down the road.
Just in
Why?
the letter.
And I know originally, the data centers wanted to buy the power directly from Talon and not have to pay that money that,
Distribution.
like, they wanted to buy it directly before it went to the grid.
Yeah.
And the PUC or somebody said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So they have to pay the market, whatever the grid is.
Where did they buy the property on the other side of Nestor
Back Township, they're trying to buy it, but they need, yeah.
Well, supposedly, up over at what, the Hopnagle Hill and all that, they're looking at power line stretches. Cause what's his name up there that has the garage up there that does diesel repair and that? He's waiting for an appraiser to come out,
Oh,
because they're looking at running power lines out to that location.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
You're talking about
motion
the-
to forward this.
One thing too, that the noise level, and again, just in these articles, that is a big thing, Rick. I don't know if the attorney addressed that.
He has it in here.
Does he? Okay.
Decimal level.
Basically, we looked it up in his office there, the interstate will, our ordinance will be less than what the interstate generates.
Can you tell us what the decibel level is or the setbacks, or can't you do that at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
65, I think. 65 seems very well.
65 or 70.
Suggest you got the ordinance when it's posted on the net.
Yeah.
Go through it, you got anything, go to the planning commission. Like you said, a lot of it's throwing different stuff in. Anything we can do,
Yeah,
all
and
sort
what-
of legally.
Actually, he didn't write this as a data center. He wrote it as an ordinance of Mifflin Township to amend the zoning ordinance to establish standards for technological infrastructure within the Mifflin Township zoning ordinance. And it addresses everything from cell towers to solar fields.
So what we don't know about.
Right.
Like you said, 3 years, there might not be data centers,
Right.
but something will be there.
Right.
Yeah.
So when are the planning commission's meetings then?
I was hoping that they would be able to do it at their March meeting, which is the first Tuesday. But the problem is this, once we approve this, then it has to be advertised for 30 days before it goes to the planning commission. So the planning commission probably won't be able to act on it until, well, today's what, the 17th or the 7th? So they probably won't be able to act on it until,
Today's the night.
you know, mid-March. They'll probably have to have a special meeting. Then we'll probably have to have a special meeting in April because it has to, again, be advertised for 30 days before we would have our meeting.
But they can have a special meeting, they don't have to wait
Right.
until the
Right, we,
first whatever.
we'll have special meetings to get it through.
Okay.
Setbacks on all technological infrastructure shall be set back a minimum of 200 feet from residential properties, schools, parks, other sensitive land uses to mitigate noise, visual disruption, potential safety hazards. Then it goes into lighting restrictions, restriction on the height.
There is a lighting restriction, cause that's another thing,
Yeah.
they're lit up like
Oh, yeah.
daylight,
Yeah.
24
With the
hours.
with the new lights though, you can light the area, but it won't go off that area.
Okay.
I mean, with the new LEDs, they can focus them. I mean, if you take an aerial view, it's gonna show up, but is it gonna shine on the neighbors? Probably not.
Rick, what's the offset off of the interstate then? You're saying buildings, but what about the interstate? That goes right through, that goes right through the industrial.
Well, no, the industrials,
Yeah, that
it
even one
starts at
more.
the
Edge, starts at the Interstate 80, right? Industrial.
Yeah, but there's
It goes
already,
towards Fifth
there's
Avenue.
already buildings in between, I think.
Well, no, there's
Not all of it.
Not along.
No, maybe not all of it,
Yeah.
but some.
The thing of it is, when you just said there 200 feet off the residential property line,
Yeah,
that takes a chunk out of it right there by itself. Then you add to it the wetland that's in there, the trout stream.
until we see what they're gonna build, we,
Well, this is it, you're
It's hard
right,
to
I
say
mean,
whether it's good or
because
bad.
if the other property, if only one property owner would decide to sell, he and himself, the person, his property, he has two different, plots of ground. Neither one of them would be anything close to what they have at Salem Township. I mean, I think Amazon has like over 400 acres up there, and that would not be anything close to that. But if they combine, property owners, well, then you've got acreage that could be something, totally larger in scale. But I don't think that's gonna happen myself, I mean, from what I've heard from these people, I don't see it happening. But then you have other restrictions that would be in there, you just said like, private property or personal residence. There is different properties that's owned in among that industrial area. So it would be interesting.
yeah, until we find out where, who.
We also got Brown Cemetery, that's even
Yeah, it is.
That's
Um,
historical place.
Actually, there's also the electromagnetic exposure, electric fields, magnetic fields, radio frequencies, structural safety standards, buffer zones, abandonment, decommissioning. So we'll get this up on the internet hopefully by tomorrow. And I'll get it to the planning commission as soon as I can, and they'll set their meeting up. So I'll make a motion that we pass this on to the zoning or the planning commission for their input on it.
Does that have to go to the county? Have to go through your planning commission for approval,
It goes to the, not for approval, it just goes to them,
for them to review?
yeah.
Second motion then.
Nothing else?
Could I just comment?
Yeah.
I don't think 200 feet's enough, honestly. I don't know if you guys could amend that at some point if you decide.
Well, that's
so.
something the planning commission would
Yeah.
recommend us to do.
Because I know in Escopet Borough, they're like welcoming this in if it goes through, and they're like 75 feet away from houses up there, is what I heard. And I know Dallas Township passed, I believe, 3,000 feet, and Escopet itself did 300 feet in the township. I mean, the distance is a big concern for anybody living around there. That's what I'm-
You got a lot of concerns, you get to the planning commission when they meet, and pass it on to them so they can recommend it to us,
Okay.
and then we can,
Is that
hopefully
open to
get,
the
this is a
public?
guideline case, we can hopefully get it in
Oh,
there.
is it?
What do they?
Yeah, you can attend it, yes.
Yeah, it'll be a public meeting, it probably won't be held here, I'm guessing. I don't know where we'll have it at yet, maybe the social hall or fire company, I don't know.
Motion
where
on
we
the
can-
floor, how about a vote on it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Yeah, you can take questions.
okay. Yeah,
I just wanna say thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for not selling us down the river there.
yeah,
You know, cause money talks and they've been
Yeah.
dropping a lot of money.
Right now, the planning commission regular meetings are what?
second, or the first Tuesday,
First Tuesday, 7:30 or 7 what?
7 o'clock, I think, but they'll probably have to have a special one.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
But we could attend that one to.
yeah, well, it'll be advertised.
Yeah.
we don't know what
When is
Sarah's
it
saying.
again?
What's that?
Planning commission meetings,
The first Tuesday,
first Tuesday, 7.
I think it's 7 o'clock, but I'm not positive, I'd have to check with Mark.
How many's on that board?
4?
So what?
On the planning commission. There's Mark Young, Brad Arrow,
Jim Broy?
Paul Broyan?
Paul Broyan, Neville,
No,
Tim Neville, and Erdman.
David Erdman.
Dave Erdman, and
You got 5 and 2. Right, 5 on 2 on.
oh yeah, I guess the others are all.
Yeah.
But yeah, cause Mark said he wouldn't be here the first week of March when I asked him,
How would you do that?
but. But now it's not gonna be the first week of March, it'll be some other time, so.
Why did the attorney know that?
Yeah, for what, you put him in
He
another.
threw those, yeah, he threw those days on you.
Yeah,
Didn't let you know.
yeah. So, back on the agenda, we are working on the stormwater projects on Market Street and West Street. I just signed, I might as well do that right now. There is. We need to sign paperwork for the state. Like I said before, real estate appraisals said they would probably have the bridge project, get us that information, the appraisal prices on that this week. They have here an agreement to authorize electric access to PennDOT systems. This agreement to authorize electronic access to PennDOT systems is between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania acting through the Department of Transportation, PennDOT, and Mifflin Township, Columbia County, Pennsylvania. Basically what this is they have what's called a PIDA number that we have to have in order to transfer the funds from PennDOT to us. And so we don't have that number because we've never done a project with PennDOT. So I just need authorization to sign these, and then you need to stamp it and attest to it.
What's the project?
Yes, for both projects.
This was from Peter, so I'm assuming it's probably just Market Street.
But we're getting money on for the bridge too.
Yeah, but
We're getting a lot for the bridge.
maybe,
Okay.
I don't know why Peters needed it and Larson didn't. Did you need something?
No.
No, okay, I didn't want you to run off if you needed something else that we didn't get to yet. But I just need authorization to sign this, and then you need to stamp it and sign it. I'll
That's a resolution,
Yeah, well,
or what is it? Agreement.
it's just an agreement, it doesn't even have a resolution on it, so I guess it's just authorization to do it. They thought we had a number, they gave Peters the number, and then they found out that they gave the one from Mifflin Township in Lycoming County. They said, oh, you don't ever have one. So, it's a BPID number, they call it. I'll make a motion, or I probably shouldn't.
Motion authorizing Brown to sign.
Second?
Yep.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, there's that one. Then I got two more. Application for authorization for agent to apply for highway occupancy permit. I just need authorization to sign that one. To apply for the permit on Market Street.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Well, this stuff should have been handled a couple of years ago. There's all this nonsense on us.
PennDOT has messed you guys up.
3 years now, this is.
3 years.
Yeah, and the bridge out there.
Messed us up for 15 years.
Oh,
No, but I mean, just the bridge alone itself to talk about.
The bridge, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
supposed to start on a Monday, they screwed us up on a Friday
Yeah.
because Lycoming County flooded out.
yeah. That- Unreal.
And that would, the whole darn thing would have been done less than $100,000,
Yeah.
Yeah.
of which we were paying 15,000.
And then I need authorization to sign a, application for Department of Environmental Protection, Bureau of Waterways and Engineering and Wetlands. Same thing, it's for,
We don't kill the trout.
the adjoining property owners are Rodriguez, Marcos, Tammy Noor, Christopher Thomas,
This one.
and Annette Brennan, which is the properties along West Street that we're gonna.
We're gonna,
Motion
we're gonna
made?
what?
Aren't we digging an art right away there? Why do they have to be,
It's for DEP.
yeah, but, cause of,
Just
They
'cause we're-
anticipating
just
runoff?
Cause we're gonna dig. Oh, if you dig more than, this is the minor one. If you disturb more than like 1 acre, you have to go through this real long process
Yeah.
to get this permit. But because we're only disturbing like a half an acre, we can apply for it without going through the full blown.
Unless the inspector drives by.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's happened before.
Do it at night. Motion made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, they all need to be signed by stamped, or one needs to be stamped. Basically what's going on, the bridge, like I said before, we're waiting on, the appraisal to be done. As soon as that's done, then we can proceed to bidding it. The stormwater projects on Market, Klein, and West, Market Street looks like it'll probably be ready to bid next month. I hope they're gonna bid it next month, because we want to start as soon as possible, and probably West Street shortly thereafter. That's all I got on those.
Okay, I got Peter's bills that you wanna look at and do that.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to do that now.
That's all I had.
Okay. We have 3 sets of bills, we only got 2 from Peters. Okay, West Street drainage improvement. Total amount due $9,436.25 to Peters. Market Street drainage project. Due $26,743.75. That's as of January 4th. There's 3 sets of bills. We've got to look at them and forward them, or at Peters, forward them to Success Incorporated or wherever that is.
Yeah.
So they can authorize us to pay.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we pass them on to whoever needs to, pass them on to Grant Success Labs.
I'll second.
So that before it hits the ground, okay, January 4th, our total it is, what, 7, 10, $37,000.
The total bill's what, right around 100?
47 and 54. Yeah, around 100.
Yeah.
And we pay that, and I guess most of that's gonna be our share of the, project.
33 and a third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on what the projects come in.
Yeah.
Because they may come in so high, we might not take the full bite.
Yeah. Well, what the bids will come in at. I remember a lady saying to me one time, she had a son in medical school, she was doing a development. She was gonna have her son change his major to engineering.
Dig a ditch.
Remember saying that?
I remember Charlie Webb's bills, yeah.
And Charlie was cheap
Yeah.
compared to these guys.
You can talk to him.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I guess that's all I have.
Yeah, what else we got?
Whatever you got.
Yeah, I'm just doing the same stuff.
Okay.
We gotta check with the attorney on this Overlook deal,
Yeah.
because, I mean, we've been under the.
Yeah, we spent the money
We could keep their
a
money.
long time ago.
Right.
Take it out of the fire money.
What's that?
Take it out of the fire money.
Oh, speaking of fire. Sorry, I wasn't done yet. You had to bring that up?
Yeah, I did.
What do we do with these now?
I asked you that when you said we had them.
Well, I got them now, dropped them off today. But should I call the guy from Berkheimer and find out how to handle them? What it is anybody that's EMS, firefighter, they get a reduction on their township EIT money, which isn't a lot, it's 0.5% or whatever your earned income is. And Mifflin passed that ordinance a couple years ago, and then we repassed it last year. And now the firefighters this time have submitted paperwork. Last time, nobody submitted for it, so we'll have to find out what to do with that. He said it's not due till April, so we'll have to, I didn't know if you knew what to do with it or not.
Who's the account?
Well, probably has something to do with Berkheimer, because they're the tax collector for the EIT in Mifflin Township, well, all of Columbia County and part of Luzerne. Anyone else on the floor have anything?
Good job on the roads with the snow.
Yes,
I second
they
that.
were well taken care of.
Well, thank you all for coming, look forward to seeing you again.
I had several people say they, once they got off the township roads, were on the state roads, they were working.
Well, in Taylorville, where it's all blown shut, they've been doing a great job keeping all those strips.